And hello again, and here we are back in my garage. It's now mid-December, and so it's time for one of my year-end videos, where I look back over the year and also look ahead to plans for next year in 2025. So this year, it's not a lot really has been going on. My main project has been this, my Kawasaki Z650 project with the R6 running gear and an engine taken from a GPZ 750. Now that engine is currently being built by me, and I'm about halfway through it. And progress was pretty good up until about June of this year, when things then slowed down, and really I've not done a lot with the bike since then. And that's just because I've got a lack of time, and it's difficult to not just get time, but get enough time to work on something for, say, several hours at a time. I might get a half an hour here, half an hour there, but it's difficult to get sort of a whole day or half a day to work on the bike. In the same way, next to me down here, I've got the engine from my currently on pause Kawasaki Z750A1. Again, half built. I just need to get on with it and get it finished. And one reason why things slowed down in June was because in June I bought my first new bike in 25 years, which of course is my Nautica Commando 961 here, which I'm very happy with. I don't regret buying it, even though it's quite expensive. And yeah, hopefully I'll keep it for many years. So the other highlight of the year for me was finally getting a storage unit on a local farm to me. I've wanted one for such a long time, for years and years, and I finally got one. It's been really helpful to have. Now the unit's quite cheap to have because it's got no power. But that's okay, because I've been using lights powered by Makita batteries. I've got Makita tools now. I've got a drill and a impact driver and so on, and hopefully I'll get a few more tools all powered by the same batteries in the near future. So yeah, that's been a bit of a game changer for me. It gives me a lot more space, and in fact not long after I got the unit, of course, I had the space to go and buy this Norton and keep it safe in the garage. So anyway, that's sort of my year to date. So yeah, some highlights, but it's not been that exciting when it comes to the projects themselves. And so now let's look ahead to next year. So what plans have I got? Well, I've got plans to finish my Z650 with the 750 engine. I've got plans to hopefully sort out the oil leak on the outrigger we built for this engine, my 1170 in the 650 chassis. There's a whole long build thread about that bike, so I won't go into it again. Ditto, I would like to sort out the charging system and battery for my Norley here, because that's a problem. And the problem is that it was designed to take a lithium-ion battery because they're very small, and it lives behind the seat here in the seat hump. There's not enough room behind here for a standard acid battery, a standard lead acid battery. But lithium-ion batteries don't seem to last very long on my bike, because it turns out they don't like the variable voltage that are generated by the generator on these old Harleys. So I need to maybe find a space on this bike to fit a standard lead acid battery, and that won't be easy because there's not a lot of spare space. I could perhaps try and move the oil filter, which now lives behind the engine, in front of the rear wheel, and that might give me a bit of room. But I don't know, it's all a bit tight down there, so who knows. I need to do a bit more thought about that and hopefully get a solution together sometime next year when I get time. And finally, there's one more bike I'd like to put on the road next year, and that's my 1981 Ducati MHR. I've owned that bike for more than 30 years, but not ridden it for more than 20. I restored it many years ago, and once it was restored, it just ended up being a giant ornament. So I want to get it on the road before I'm too old to ride it, because it is a bloody uncomfortable bike to ride. It should, in theory, fingers crossed, start, without a problem. It just needs a bit of tweaking here and there, maybe, a bit of tweaking on the carbs, and it should fire up, I hope. So we'll see about that. I can't really bring it out here right now in the garage because I've got no space for another bike, and it's nice and dry and safe where it is, so it can stay there until the spring or until I get a bit more space in here. However, I also, of course, cover other bikes that aren't mine, such as Drew's Turbo Kawasaki project that my friend Les is building for him. So the plan, I think, is to have that finished by late spring or early summer next year. So we'll have plenty of videos about that bike in the new year. Now, once that bike's completed, Drew has another bike, another big Kawasaki, that he wants my mate Les to rebuild for him. So again, I'll be covering that during the year. Oh yes, I almost forget then. I've also got another bike of mine at Les's, which is my Kawasaki Z1000 Mark II with a big 400cc engine. So that's now, again, has been on hold for quite a long time, but hopefully, fingers crossed, things are starting to move with that now. We've got the parts we need to finish the engine off. So hopefully, fingers crossed, as I say, that engine will be completed in perhaps the next few months, at which point it can come home and I can continue working on the project here. God knows where it's going to go, but we'll find a way. We'll find a way. And so moving on to my friend Jeff, he's now dusted off the cobwebs from his old Kawasaki supercharged drag bike. He's now working on that again. So it'll be quite interesting to see how far he gets with that project in 2025. He's also got another drag bike, his first ever drag bike that he's now bought back and he's rebuilding. And that's based on a Honda 250, which is also supercharged. So again, it'll be quite interesting to see how far he gets with that. I've actually got the rear wheel for that right now that I've sent off to be recoated back to its original gold colour. That's an Astrolite wheel that should be gold, but when he bought it, it was red. So we're changing that back to gold. So it's more like his original idea for the bike back in 1981 or whatever. So yeah, that's quite interesting. Now, also, there is one more project that I've never mentioned before. It's top secret for the time being, and I won't really mention much about it now. But that's one of my projects, and the reason why I've not mentioned it is because it's a very slow burning project. It's going to take a long time to complete, and for the last year or so, I've just been sourcing parts for that project, just buying parts here and there slowly when I can afford it. Parts are not always easy to find, but we are getting there slowly. And I don't really want to sort of make a video about that bike project because it could be another year or 6 months before anything really starts to happen with that particular project. Depends on what else I'm doing and if I've got space to work on it and so on. But I will make a video about that, and we'll do a whole new build thread about that particular project at some point in the future. Yes, that's quite interesting, that particular project. And so there are some of the things we've got planned for next year. Although that said, of course, things don't always go to plan. I mean, who knows what might happen. I know Norton are going to come out with some new bikes in the new year. I believe they're going to be V4s. So maybe I'll like one of them and go and buy one. Who knows? Maybe I'll part exchange this. Maybe I'll just buy another bike. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But what I hope to do is finish at least 2 or 3 of my projects. As I say, I've got a rule now that says I can't buy any more bikes, any more projects until I sell at least one of my current projects and current bikes. So I have sold one at least. I have sold my red 650, but I really need to sell at least one more before I even consider starting a new project or buying a new bike. That's the rule I've set myself, but who knows? I mean, rules are made to be broken, so who knows what might happen. Yeah, so stay tuned, as they say, and we'll see what happens in 2025. So that's it for now. My tea's gone cold, so it's time I stopped here. So thanks for watching, and cheers.